If your car's throwing a P0171 code, that means there's too much air sneaking into the engine and not enough fuel to balance things out. In plain speak, the engine's running lean, which can lead to all sorts of problems if it goes unchecked. In this video, we'll break down the usual reasons why this code shows up and give you the know-how to figure out what's going wrong and fix it before your ride takes a real beating. When your car throws a P0171 code, it's telling you the mix of air and fuel heading into the engine ain't quite right. Either too much air's getting in, or not enough fuel's flowing, and that throws off the balance. If the engine's sucking in more air than it should, you might have a vacuum leak letting extra oxygen sneak into the system. On the flip side, if it's starving for fuel, that could point to trouble with your fuel pump, or maybe some injectors that aren't doing their job. Either way, when that mix leans too heavy on the air, we call it running lean. And just so you know, if it had too much fuel instead, we'd say it's running rich. Both can cause problems, but that P0171 means she's lean, and that's gotta be sorted before it leads to bigger headaches. If your ride's throwing a P0171 code, the first thing to eyeball is the vacuum system. Even a tiny crack or tear in one of those vacuum lines can let extra air sneak into the engine, messing with the air-fuel balance. That kind of leak might be hiding anywhere around the intake. Could be in the PCV hoses, vacuum lines, or even where the intake manifold gasket's supposed to seal tight. Now, if those vacuum lines are all in good shape, the problem likely shifts to the fuel side of things. A tired fuel pump might not be pushing enough gas through the lines. You could also be dealing with gunked up fuel injectors, or a fuel filter that's overdue for a change. Both can keep fuel from flowing freely. And let's say you've checked all that. The vacuum system's airtight, the fuel's getting where it needs to go, and that P0171 code's still hanging on with the check engine light staring you down. Don't worry, there's still ground to cover. Might be your oxygen sensor, mass airflow sensor, or air-fuel ratio sensor acting up, dirty, worn out, or just plain faulty. Could even be an exhaust leak tossing off the readings. When your engine's running lean like this, there's just not enough fuel to keep things humming right. That can lead to the car struggling to get up to speed or climb hills, and in bad cases, it could run hot enough to do real damage. Folks who tinker with their turbo setups and crank up the boost, yeah, they're more likely to see that code too. More air means more power, but only if you're feeding the engine enough fuel to keep things balanced. Bottom line, when P0171 pops up, your car's burning fuel less efficiently than it should. Every mile you drive with that code hanging around is money out the tailpipe. Clearing a P0171 code isn't rocket science if you go step by step. First off, clear out any other error codes your car might be holding onto, so you're not chasing ghosts. Then focus in on this one. Start by checking the vacuum system for leaks. Even a small crack in a hose can let in unwanted air and mess with your fuel mix. You can use a vacuum gauge if you've got one, or just listen carefully around the engine for any weird hissing, kind of like air escaping from a balloon. Next up, grab a fuel pressure gauge and make sure the engine's getting the gas it needs. While you're at it, inspect the fuel filter and injectors. They might be clogged and slowing things down. If all that checks out, it's time to look at the sensors. Run some diagnostics to see how your oxygen sensors are holding up. If they're dirty or not working right, they can feed bad info to your car's computer and keep throwing that lean code. You'll find a list of parts that could be the troublemakers, along with what it usually costs to fix them.